We are your home theater and AV questions answered. This is AVRant. Want your home theater or AV question answered by Tom and Rob? Send it to question@avrant.com. Welcome to AVRant. I'm Tom Andry, and I'm here with
Rob H.
Jonathan. Jonathan says, what do we make of Robert Schneier's editorial posted on Stereo? I can't say what. Why does there's no Smiths anymore? I had a kid I was working with today. They spelled Leo with a J.
Okay.
And I keep looking at it. I know how to pronounce it, but I can't, because it's like they deconstructed the word and put it back together. Like by using, it's very confusing. Like parents, stop it. Anyways, that's not this guy's name. This guy's Robert. He's fine. Robert's Schneier's editorial post on Stereophile titled R.I.P. Audiophilia. It was nice knowing. Audiophilia sounds weird when you say it out loud. Writing it looks fine, but out loud it sounds like you're doing something wrong to audio, which actually works in this case. It was nice knowing you. Which he says when he states that audiophilia is dead because the best audio equipment is now outlandishly expensive. He says that at one point the best was within reach of anyone with enough patience, which is still true no matter how you look at it. It's like saying that you can't just walk anywhere anymore. We have to drive. No, you can walk. You just have to start like really early if you're trying to go to New York from Florida. Okay, he says. The best was within components now perform too many tasks, which is, according to him, more than one. Mm-hmm. Streaming music is too convenient, which means that our brains are being muddled by all the things in the airwaves, and some of it sounds pretty darn good. So while the best, doesn't seem that much better. And it's gotten so crazy expensive that very decent has gotten cheaper, so the gap between the audiophiles and the mainstream factions is shrinking. So he concludes that audiophiles should maybe start calling themselves stereophiles. Like the magazine he writes for.
Yeah, that's right.
Instead, because it's no longer about owning the best sound, but rather it's about holding a certain attitude about sound systems. So let me see if I got this right. There's really good sound out there.
Uh-huh.
So there's no point going for the best sound anymore because the gap isn't wide enough. And to bridge that gap...
And to get there is a huge expense.
It's a huge expense.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have to disagree with him on a couple of points here. I know you're going to probably find this a little shocking. But I'm going to say that maybe this guy's just smoking a little bit too much of his own whatever he's selling there.
You know what? I appreciated that, in my opinion. I mean, I guess he probably didn't mean to be this nakedly truthful. But I saw this and I'm like, oh, what you are, you're not an audiophile. You're not a stereophile. You're an exclusionist.
Exactly.
That's what you enjoy, is excluding other people from your hobby. Right? That's where you get your kicks, is being like, it's either by saying, I have the best, no one else was patient and smart enough to recognize that this is the best, or since anybody can go out there and get pretty darn good sound for not a whole lot of money anymore.
And then they come listen to my system, which I spent thousands of dollars on. They go, well, I mean, yeah, it's good, but it's not that much better than mine.
But, I have to be something different.
Right.
So I will be a stereophile, because anybody can be an audiophile. Anybody can go out and spend a couple $1,000s and have fantastic sound these days.
Surround
maybe
sound,
even with,
Atmos.
11 speakers. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Amazing.
what I can do, what we can do, we who used to be called audiophiles, what we can do is be exclusively about stereo. That's what we can do, so we can still be exclusionists. That's what I got out of it.
Yeah. I do appreciate that he is recognizing that there's good sound out there, because that's too often the case that not the point. Now, what it really comes down to is that this idea of spending exclusionary idea is really at the heart of almost every single hobby, and anybody that says it's not
that's right.
is lying to themselves.
It's the whole loving an indie band until they get popular, right?
Well, there's that, but I mean, think about any hobby. Riding bicycles, I'm sure I'm going to find out, is like this. Motorcycles are certainly about it, especially if you're a Harley guy versus a not Harley guy, or girl. I'm not going to judge. A sports bike person, cruiser, whatever. There's people out there that are just, they can talk your ear about the minutia of everything and why theirs is absolutely the best. I accidentally asked a dude one time who was he was a plumber working on my house. We had a leak in the garage. It was very odd and very disconcerting. And it was leaking all over the motorcycle, which is even worse. And he saw the motorcycle and goes, well, I don't really call that a motorcycle because it's not a sports bike.
Right.
I'm going to regret this, but why? And there he goes, right? It's like 2 hours. You won't leave my house. I'm like, will you fix the pipe and get out, okay? It's not that I don't agree with the guy. I do. I like sports bikes. I don't like the bike we got. We got the bike because my wife wanted this bike. I like sports bikes. I get where he's coming from. But, dude, seriously, shut up. Shut up, okay? That's what I don't want us to be on this podcast. You come to me with B&W speakers, I'm okay with that. Do I like B&W speakers? Nope. I don't. I've heard them. I'm not that big on them. Do I like Triad speakers? Not really. Not particularly. I mean, I've heard them. They were all right. I think they're way too expensive. Do I like Bang & Olufsen speakers? Not particularly. Have I heard them? Are they good? Yeah, they're fine. But you come to me and you say, I've got these speakers and I love them. The last thing I'm going to do is try to convince you to get new speakers. Mm. How many times in this podcast have we said, your speakers are fine. You don't need to buy new speakers. What you need is, your receiver is fine. You don't need to buy an amp. What you need to do is, work with placement, work with your room, do these other things. We are not exclusionary here. Okay? You come to me and say, I want new speakers. I'll help you find some. No doubt about it. You come to me and say, I've got these speakers. Remember the guy last couple of weeks, JBL speakers. I want to upgrade to new JBL speakers. What do we say? Don't do it. You're not going to be happy. If you're going to upgrade, get something completely different. And if he came back and said, I really like the Bang & Olufsen's, good. Knock him out. Or weird looking, cigarette putter outer thingies at outside stores these days. What do they look like little tripod things. Whatever. Fine. You like them? I'm happy for you. But this right here is exactly right. This is what hobbies, unfortunately, degenerate. And I do mean that in the most negative sense of the word. Degenerate into. They degenerate in a way of feeling superior to other people. And that's not what it's supposed to be about. I don't want home theater. I don't want somebody to come to home theater and go, wow, I could never have this. Or, wow, you're really into this stuff. I'm like, no. Yeah, I'm just a dude who likes home theater. And I'm perfectly happy to share this with you. And I'm perfectly happy to help you get as close to whatever you're comfortable getting as you can.
And to be clear, I got zero problem if what you want to do is set up a 2-channel stereo-only system, because that's what you want. I'm like, cool.
Knock it out, dude.
If you want to, so I don't want it to sound like that. What I object to is the idea of, I only want 2-channel stereo, so now I'm part of an exclusive group. That's
right. Like, you should really, if they really want to be exclusive, they should go back to mono. That'll really.
Yeah, some do.
And some have. I've seen
there's that dude who's like, reel-to-reel tape is the only source worth a damn.
Even though you take it from a different source and record it on reel-to-reel, somehow playing it back on reel-to-reel makes it better. You are a crazy person. So, it's really an exclusionary thing. And I sense
that's where the word audiophile got a bad connotation.
Yeah.
Was from this exclusionary attitude. That's right.
From. And this sort of it really comes down to this offhanded condensation. Condescension. When somebody says, "I bought Bose speakers," you go, "Oh, you did? Why?" Or, "Oh," and you just leave it at that. That's not where we are. Okay, that's not where we are. People buy Bose headphones all the time. People buy.
The headphones are actually good. So.
The headphones are fine. People buy Beats by Dr. Dre all the time. I had a friend of mine. He's like, my son got these Beats from Dr. Dre. I don't know where he got them from. Well, dude, he stole them probably. I mean, honestly, he can't afford them. He stole them. He's like, I don't think he said his friends gave them to him. Like, he stole those speakers. Like, he stole those headphones for sure. He goes, oh, whatever, whatever. He really likes them. I'm like, that's great. He likes them. Didn't say a word about it. 2 months later, he comes back and goes, hey, the other day I listened to those Beats headphones that my son has. They sound terrible. I'm like, I know. He goes, why'd you say anything? I'm like, why would I? What possible benefit is it for me to denigrate something that you own, or your son has procured through whatever nefarious means. What possible benefit is it for me to say something about that? I have friends who have Bose speakers right in their house right now. The only thing I've ever said to them, because they're the weird sideways bookshelves with the angled tweeters, were
like the 901s.
The 90, they were kind of like 901s, but they're the younger versions or the lower numbered version.
Oh, like the 301s or the 201s.
Yeah, and I said, the only thing I said was like, if you switch the speakers so that the tweeters are pointing towards you and not pointing towards the side walls, dialogue might get a little clearer. He goes, oh, well, the guy told me they're supposed to bounce off the wall. I'm like,
which is true. That's what they say.
I know. I said, I know, but I'm just saying. He goes, oh, okay. He never did it, and I never said another word about it. I try to help a guy out. It's fine. We're not exclusionary here. We're helpful. And if you think we're being exclusionary, you need to let us know so we can stop and apologize. But seriously, Stereophiles. Want your question answered? Send it to question@avrant.com. This is AVRant.
Now go out and listen to something.